I have my microphones connected. What a morning. Taking care of my dog. Well, not my dog, our son's puppy. But oh my gosh, she's drives me crazy. Again, she's a puppy, so she's learning all the things that she's not supposed to be doing. Um. Anyways, good morning, you guys. Aloha, baby. Charming from Hilo, Hawaii. Life talks. You're not alone. I just feel like I'm just exhausted from this week's Merry Monarch. If you guys do not know what Merry Monarch is, it is just a huge hula festival, a competition where a lot of the halaus come in, the hula groups, they come in and they perform and they compete at the Civic Center here in Hilo. Aside from that, maybe a few days before, there's a bunch of craft fairs that come up, and at those craft fairs is a lot of local vendors from all over the place. They come in and they sell all their creative things that they've made. And I've gotten a bunch of things from Wahine Toa, Kialo Pico, Ocean End, and that's probably about it. I'm not the biggest shopper, but when I do find something that I do like, I will go ahead and get what get what's out there. I'm not one to just want to splurge money, but it was a nice experience. And anyways, with that being said, there's a lot of friends and families that you bump into, and I feel like my obedient self to the Lord was kind of not dismissed, but it was easy to fall. Hold on one second. Something just flew in my coffee. Oh my gosh. Ah. Yeah, I think I got it. Oh no, I didn't get it. I don't want to drink it and then it comes in and I end up eating it. Oh, I think that was the ant that I was trying to get earlier. So here we have red ants, fire ants, and it bites you and oh gosh, it really hurts. But anyways, I think one just fell in my coffee. Anyway, so this week with having a bunch of people visiting the islands, you bump into a lot of people. Hi, good morning. And I feel like my obedience to God, to the Lord, had went off track. I kind of fell into my own ways and the way that I talk, and I feel like I was a little bit better. But then when the family came around, I noticed my mouth went sideways again, and no filter, no thought process to what other people might be going through. And there was two individuals in the family that said that they were kind of struggling and having a hard time, and I was so happy to share my testimony of where I am at. It just kind of it just kind of I kind of forgot what others was going through or could have been going through, right? This is Hi, good morning. This is a Hawaiian oh my gosh, I just forgot. It's like Hawaiian monarchy. Hi, good morning. It's a Hawaiian coat of arms. So I'm from Hawaii. So with that being said, I didn't think about how other people or what other people was going through before I shared my testimony, and that's the one thing that the Lord says, right? Really think about what you say before you say it, because you don't know if that message is right for your audience. Meaning, I maybe shared my testimony with somebody that probably didn't want to hear it, and that could have either uplifted them or brought them down to be either quiet or shied away, or maybe it motivated them to want to move forward and do something about whatever they're struggling with, or make changes to maybe their career or lifestyle so that they can do better, or get the things that I mean, not get the things that they want, but maybe fight those battles that they're dealing with at that moment, at this time. So again, it's the power of the tongue is very strong, and it's really important to really understand who's in your view and who's in your path, especially when you want to share something to them that's not ready to be accepted. I thank you. All right, so this morning we're going to talk about because of me falling off track yesterday, or this just this whole week. We're gonna jump into Acts 13:1-3, and it's about a long obedience. Okay, that's what the plan is for today. It's our obedience to God. Him. So remember, obedience to God is not a one-on-one, one and done activity, right? It's the pattern of life. So each day we're just pushed with all these and bombarded with all these situations that just require us to decide whether or not we'll obey God or not. And for me, everything was good, but when I placed myself in front of my family, it's like this whole another shift happened. Like everything that I worked with God in my devotions just kind of like this like dissipated. Like it just like I'm like, what the heck? Like I want to be the way that I am, but I just feel like I don't know what I feel like in the moment, but I know it just wasn't the way that I it's right, Peter. I just feel like it just goes out the door, like, but it's who you're placed with that just makes you it just shifts your way that you present yourself, if that makes sense. Sometimes it's easy to submit to the Lord's direction, but other times it isn't. So right now, of course, it's so easy to submit to his direction, but once we're placed in front of people that steer you away from his direction, it's really easy to fall off track. And many times we can fail, right? We fail. But after failing so much times, it would be understandable to just stay down for the count, to give up following Jesus and choose an easier journey. And that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to fall off track and choose an easier journey. I want to keep falling and keep its temptations, yes. Sometimes not even temptations, it's just a type of crowd that you're with. You feel like if I was with a more godly crowd, then I probably would continue being on his path. But if I'm not on a more godly crowd, and you have a crowd that has no filter, um you're gonna fall back in those ways again. Now, some people want to keep falling, and they tend to give up. I, on the other hand, no matter how much I keep falling, I get up and I jump right back into the journey with the Lord, and that's in this devotions, right? And devotions for me is very critical because it starts my day. Now, for this past 5 days, I wasn't in devotions because this event was just very busy, and I just got up early in the morning. Before even devotion started, I was out the door. So that time of doing devotions was put on hold because I was doing other things. But with that being said, should I have jumped into devotions when I came home? And the answer is yes. But I didn't. I was so exhausted, and see these excuses: exhausted, tired, whatever. 30 minutes. I could have been laying in bed. Instead of flicking through my phone, I could have been laying in bed and looking at devotions and getting myself back on track. But I chose to look at my phone. So you see, you have a choice. And it's not always the wrong choice, but you also have to see what it is that you're doing that you don't want to do. And for me, I see all the things that I don't want to do, and I'm okay, and I'm freely open to say I made a mistake and I maybe didn't do what I was supposed to do. Okay. But if you think about some of the heroes of the Bible, okay, their lives were marked by failure. See, a lot of these guys and gals that are the heroes, they failed many times, but those failures did not lead them to stay in sin self defeat. Okay, meaning it never allowed them to stay in the sinful ways. Okay, and they never allowed the sinful ways to defeat them. So Abraham slept with his wife's servant in order to secure the promises of God. Moses killed a man. David took another man's wife, right? And to cover up the affair, he positioned her husband to be killed in a battle. Peter denied knowing Jesus in order to blend in and save his own skin. Paul corroborated with the persecution of many Christians before encountering Jesus on the road to Damascus. But none of their stories prevented God from using them to further his plans. Okay, so for me, when I'm around people, I'm in my old skin, but not in my new skin with the Lord. And just like how it says, how the Lord said, Peter denied knowing me in order to blend in to save his own skin, right? I didn't deny knowing Jesus, but I didn't shower my surroundings with my connection with the Lord because I just didn't feel like they would accept it or accept me the way that I am now. Okay. So I had to put on this shield to really share with the family that I'm still me. But do I still want to be the old me that I was at like the way that I present myself? And the answer is no. Okay. The lapse of obedience didn't sideline them, but brought them back to obedience, right? So in Acts 13, Paul and Barnabas are sent out again, knowing that there will be resistance with temptation and pressure to turn from God's call to obedience to an easier way. From what we read, they didn't object or complain, even though the work that laid ahead of them would be hard and success wasn't granted. They simply obeyed what God was saying. Okay, obedience doesn't always have to be a result of a winning situation, but in God's long game, it depends, right? It deepens devotion and the connection with the Lord. Correct. So even though it's not a win, and if you fail, it's okay. It's like playing a long game of Monopoly, right? You you made a wrong move, but as you continue playing the game, you have that deeper connection of knowing what's going on the board, and that connection with the game just gets stronger, right? You know what people's moves are going to be. And that's the same thing with the connection with the Lord, right? No matter how much times you win, no matter how much times you fail, that connection with the Lord will start to deepen and it'll connect and it'll bond. And that's the bond that we're looking for, okay? If you feel disconnected from God, just look at whether you're following your own path in life rather than His. So for me, I'm partially in mine and then in His, but I need to be fully in His. And again, my challenge and my trials is placing myself with the old. Yes, I am. I'm Hawaiian. Is placing yourself with the old crew, not old crew, but placing yourself with the people that you feel like you're in your sinister ways with, and challenge yourself to be able to stay on the path with the Lord and speak of His word, but also share yours, but also stay on His path, meaning no swearing, no discussing other people's failures, no sinful thoughts or tongue or all of that things. Test yourself, right? But for me, I want to be following on my path, my own path with Him, okay? Not with my own path with Him, with His on His path, but enjoying this journey with Him. And I do. Maybe today is just the day you take the first step towards reconnecting with Him by recommitting your life to the path of obedience. So Acts of Apostle 13 says, among the prophets and teachers of the church at Antioch of Syria were Barnabas, Simeon, Lucius, Manin, and Saul. One day as these men were worshiping the Lord and fasting, the Holy Spirit said, appoint Barnabas and Saul for the special work to which I have called them. So after more fasting and prayer, the men laid their hands on them and sent them on their way. All right, babes. That was Acts, and I did enjoy this devotion very much. So it's just that obedience, that long obedience of just staying on track and not getting confused, not confused, but just not falling off track. I love every plan that we do and every devotion that we do in the morning, and the devotion that God blessed us with this morning was acts of obedience. And I really think it's more towards me because of of just my slip up. Okay, I'm not too hard on myself, but I know my Father above loves me unconditionally, and I know He knows that I'm trying my best in everything that I do. I am. And maybe this week I went off board and I splurged a little, maybe a lot. But again, I haven't really been one to shower myself with things that I love and I enjoy, or even just making me feel beautiful about myself, or being just loving on myself. And this week I feel like I took the time off to really enjoy and be around people. For just it's been a while since I've placed myself in crowds. This week was a challenge. I met a lot of great people that follow me on social media. I met a lot of people that were just so kind while we waited in line, and just listening to people's journeys and where they're at in life and what their struggles are. There's some people that struggling really hard compared to. I feel like our life is a struggle financially here and there, but I feel like other people's life and financial burdens are probably way worse than ours. But I also prayed for them and hope that the Lord, and they find the Lord in all that they do, and just know that even though times are hard, just keep praying and doing your best to overcome them. Some people are not as strong as other people, and we have to respect that. Not dismiss them, but respect that. Also, my connection with my husband is his attempts to do good by me, and me trying to respect his boundaries has been a struggle. There's a lot of confusion in life, and I think a lot of people struggle with it. But try to uplift yourself and have that communication with the Lord, so that you know that no matter comes, what comes your way in life, just know that if you're doing your best, that's all that matters. Right? Other than that, you guys have a nice day. I will see you guys tomorrow. Ahui ho.